There is nothing wrong for a father and a son to have problems. That's according to Rivers State Governor Nalayi Fubara earlier today when the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, led a military delegation to the government house in Port Harcourt, the state capital. He seems optimistic the political crisis involving him and his predecessor, Wike, will be resolved.
For our dear state, I know a few things must have going on, and everybody is wondering what is happening, what is not happening. We're okay. There's no problem. If we have an internal issue, it will be resolved, and everything will go back to normal. There is nothing wrong if a father and a son has a problem, if there is any problem. But I don't think there's anything, whatever it is, I will definitely resolve.
Thanks for joining us on the program, everyone. I am Nifemi Ogunto. You can join the conversation right now on X, formerly Twitter. Remember to use the hashtag Beyond 100 Days and tag at TVC News. And we continue to x-ray the Rivers crisis on the show today. Some governors of the People's Democratic Party met with the Federal Capital Territory Minister, Wike, today over the political crisis in his state. The delegation led by Governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, also had Governor Amadu Fintiri of Adamawa State, Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau, and Governor Agbo Kefas of Taraba State. The former Rivers State governor, while speaking to newsmen after a closed-door meeting, assured that he will do what he can, or rather what is right, especially after President Bola Tinubu had intervened in the matter. Part of the resolution of the governor's meeting on Tuesday was to ensure that the situation in the state is resolved.
Of Mr. President, this towering crisis appeared to be nipped in the bud. And we know the antecedents of Governor Wike. We know his contribution to national politics and national development. We know his relationship with our colleague, the Governor Fubara of Rivers State. We know his numerous forays in politics. And we are not surprised that this matter is coming to an end, or it has come to an end the way it has.
Yes, they have talked about the crisis in the state, but let me tell everybody who cares. Nobody can intimidate me. Nobody. It doesn't matter whether you go and bring talks on the road. It doesn't matter whether you want to say you're a job. If I want to do something, I will do it. Impeachment is not a military coup. Impeachment is provided under the Constitution. It's provided under the Constitution. I'm not interested in all the rumors, money, this and that. Rubbish. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. I just left office how many months ago? I'm an FCT minister. Which money? But nobody can take away our political structure. No one. So I've listened to them. And for me, you cannot walk and people begin to bring enemies. Those who fought you. When you are struggling for the person to be in office. Nobody does that. Even if you go and say, oh, I heard they said, oh, I gave a limit of how much you can say. All those things are, I want 25%. I mean, such a ridiculous. I'm not a political ingrate. I'm not. But don't touch the political structure of Rivers State. I will not shut my eyes.
Interesting development, right? Wike, the former Rivers State governor, and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. For more of this development, I'm joined by Lester Wilcox, who is a public affairs analyst and former chairman, Icon Lagos and District Society, is quite familiar with the political terrain in Rivers State. Thank you for joining us on the program this evening. We've seen the PDP governors hold two meetings in 2 days, one with Governor Fubara, hosted by the Oyo State Governor, and another one today with the FCT Minister. What do you make of these meetings?
Thank you. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. It's rather sad that my darling River State is now in the news again, not for the good reasons, but for the wrong reasons. A reminiscence of what happened about 9 years ago is what is replaying itself. And when you look back and then the question will be why River State all the time. I remember during the trial of Rotimi Amechi's tenure, a similar situation played itself, and ex-Governor Wike was at the thick of it in plotting the coup that was to remove Amechi from office. Now it has also come to the point where newly installed Governor Fubara is now at the receiving end of that obnoxious stick. But the truth of the matter is, River State is too important a state to be ignored, and that's why you see all these moves, especially even by the federal government. I understand today from your news that Chief of Defense Staff visited the state. That shows the importance, security-wise, that the state holds to the nation. And we know that the militancy or the insecurity that engulfed Nigeria from 2003 had its origin from River State. And so if a thing like this is not nipped in the bud on time, the tendency for it to escalate and become another national monster in terms of insecurity is very ripe. So the government is taking a very proactive step in intervening to the matter. But you see, from the position that Wike I just heard him speak now to his former governors, it just shows the fact that it's a matter of ego and a matter of control, which politicians all over the country, especially in the country, has decided to arrogate to themselves all that kind of power. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, nobody has been able to replicate the Lagos model of godfatherism. Nobody. Maybe they are not able to study the Bola Tinubu model of being a godfather that has a leeway for his godsons to operate. We find that everywhere godfathers have tried to rear their head. Are you talking about Oju Zokalo and Theodoji, how their marriage scattered? Are you talking about Ngige and the Uba family? Are you talking about Nnamani and Jim Wobodo? Even recently, are you talking about Adam Toshimole and Governor Baseke? So in all this, the models have failed. And River State is precarious to the fact that every successive governor seems to fight the previous governor. Rotimi Amechi had issue with what they call it, Sapito delay. I mean, Wike had issue with Amechi. Now it has come to the point of Wike also to have issue with.
Let's talk about the peculiarity of this particular one, because for the first time, we're hearing from the two men addressing this matter publicly today. And you heard the former governor saying it has nothing to do with money and many of the rumors being peddled online. But he mentioned about the political structure in the state, which according to him is untouchable. How does it work? Has there ever been a system where the governor focuses on governance and allows his predecessor to take care of politics?
Well, that only worked. That worked only in Oyo State and in Lagos State. That model worked in Oyo State, whereby, remember, under Governor Akala, Akala just concentrated on governance, while his godfather Adedibu concentrated on the political aspects. I mean, to maintain the political balancing. That only worked in Oyo State, and of course, in Lagos State, we discovered that also that the godfather, who's been the current president, leave governance to those that have to do governance and concentrate on the structure. But of course, in Lagos model, it's not a one-man structure. It's a complete structure, not a one-man structure. It's a complete structure. Now, I understand the fact that ex-Governor Wike built a structure right from the days when he was a minister, when they wanted to upset Arutimi Amechi. He had the GDM, the GDM, Grassroots Democratic Movement, yes, the GDM, that he formed with the support of the then First Lady, talking of Patience Jonathan, and in order to fight Rotimi Amechi to sweep up power from his feet, which they succeeded in doing. Now, after that, Governor Wike consolidated in that structure, in that to build, but unfortunately, and which is unfortunately, Governor Wike did not build a structure that has prominent men and women as his foundation. He built a structure that he is the one that is carrying. Now, why do I say that? He ended up at the 12th administration. He ended up going in collusion with all the men that matters in PDP and in Rivers politics. Now, the PDP was a big house in Rivers State, but unfortunately, Wike had a brush with most of the men that could have helped to sustain that structure for him, unlike what is in Lagos. Now, all these men are not happy. Are you talking about the Sekebo of Rivers State? Are you talking about what do you call him, Secondus, and so many other persons that will have been the pillars of this structure? Unfortunately, Governor Wike fought all of them and relegated them and want to build the structure by himself. And that's why I said the Lagos model is not a structure built on one man, it's a structure built on people. But in other places, they are building a structure on one man. And that was why Governor Wike single-handedly brought Sim. Sim was a civil servant. Sim was not a politician. Sim was a civil servant, called civil servant. He grew up to the level of the accountant general of the state under the Wike administration. So he propped him up. Knowing the fact fully well that it is time for power to shift to the riverine part of the state. So he was a better candidate to have been propped up, even though people were anticipating saying that power should go to the Rivers West, which is the Calabari section of the state, which is the biggest tribe and has not produced a governor. People were anticipating that.
Absolutely.
But he went for.
Let me just jump in very quickly to follow up on some of the thoughts that you've raised. He is now in faraway Abuja as the minister of the FCT. We saw how he, quite successfully handled the structure while he was governor and presided over the affairs not only of his party but of that of the state, and even slugged it out with the PDP at the national level. Do you think that seeing what seems to be a division of the house under him in Rivers, does he still wield that much power and capacity to, determine what happens politically back at home?
There will have been more strategic engagement. There should have been more strategic engagement. You hear him speak, and he was still bitter, and his interest, Governor Wike's interest, is to maintain his structure and to maintain dominance. But unfortunately, if you are not on ground, sincerely, a lot of water can pass under your feet. Wike is in Abuja, and one thing that is rife in Rivers politics is anybody that is becoming too powerful, send him to Abuja. Remember when Governor Amechi has to do that? When this same Wike was becoming a bit powerful, he made him a minister. He sent him to Abuja and they removed him from his chief of staff role. Also, Dakuku Peter Side and some of them, Magnus Abbey, they were all sent to Abuja. Now, they felt that Abuja, you have to be, and their reports are local. So when you're not on ground, to have your eye, there is a little to which your stooges, your appointees or your eyes can do if you're not there. And you have to be very tactful because Rivers politics is a bit dynamic. Now that power has shifted to the riverine part of Rivers State, the people at that place will also want to wield an authority. Wike wielded a lot of power. I must give it to him. He wielded a lot of power for him to be able to dismantle some of the big wigs in PDP in Rivers State. He was able to dismantle them. He was able to take headlong the PDP national establishment. He was able to do that and bring them to submission. It shows the capacity he has.
The twist of it is that most of the men fighting him today were also quite loyal to him while he was in government. But yesterday, we saw the PDP governors welcome Mr. President's intervention to resolve the matter between both men. How optimistic are you about Mr. President's involvement? And how far do you think that can go in resolving this matter?
No, Mr. President is the best hand to resolve this, not even the PDP or the Governors Forum. Wike has offended the PDP so well. Wike offended the PDP because right now it's either the PDP cannot beat their chest and say Wike is for them, neither is it in the APC. So he offended the PDP, even in the states. I'm sure even among his governors, among the governors, I'm sure he has offended a number of them. He has stepped on toes, especially within Rivers State, the PDP established in Rivers State. There are so many big wigs that were waiting to take a pound of flesh from Governor Wike, from ex-Governor Wike. But I think the best option now is the president option. And I'm sure the president is taking it seriously because of the security implications. Because if there is a relapse of security, Rivers State is not free of security challenges. There's a lot of cultism, there's a lot of kidnapping and other vices.
And we saw how a part of the House of Assembly complex was burnt down overnight.
Exactly.
But I want us to quickly just x-ray the disposition and the attitude of each man from what you've heard earlier. The governor is saying there's nothing wrong for a father and a son to have problems. When he met with the PDP governors yesterday, there were about 9 of them. You had former Governor Wike saying that he cannot be intimidated and that if you fight him, he will definitely fight back. And just about 4 of those governors made it to the meeting with him. What does this say about the character of both men and the ability of both of them to now, bend and make this work?
Well, what I can tell you for free is that Sim is like the bird dancing on the main road. The drummers are behind, are in the bush. You know that parable? That is Sim. Sim was a loyal person to Wike, Governor Wike. Whatever, well, the issue of money, I wouldn't know if whatever it will have been, but I know that Wike wielded a lot of influence in the appointments and those that surrounds Sims and his administration. So, of course, persons that are waiting to cash in will be at the corner trying to beat the drum. So it's not Sim beating the drum. Sim is only dancing to the drum that is being beat because there's a lot of interest at stake. People say it's a big, in terms of the purse, it's a huge purse. And anybody that holds that is able to manage and grab that purse, grab a lot of power. And of course, it's because of that purse that Wike was able to wield those power and authority. Now, Wike is also a wounded liar at this point because he will feel betrayed. I mean, I know the extent within which he went to install Sim as governor. I know the extent he went. That is even part of why he has made so much enemy within the PDP establishment in Rivers State. It is his sticking at his neck for Sim, being able to ensure that he have his way through in order to sustain his structure and his legacy. But there is, as I said, it has been more tactful. The Lagos model of godfathership will have come to play, and I think you need to ask Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now he's close to the president.
I doubt if he will have time to school anyone on how to relate with successors, as president himself. But, what you just narrated about the role the former governor played in how Governor Fubara emerged is perhaps why this is surprising to all. And you've also talked about how political crisis of this nature is an alien to Rivers State. But what do you think make this one unique to what we've seen play out in the oil-rich state in the past years?
What makes this unique is the fact that it came too soon. Nobody would have not expected this kind of backlash. It will have happened. It will have happened, certainly. Everybody you have spoken to in Rivers State during this whole process.
Did you expect it was going to happen this soon? Just 5 months into
No. I wasn't
expecting
it this soon. I wasn't expecting it this soon. I wasn't expecting the kind of dimension it took. I mean, people wake up. A lot of people would not even know what's happening in Rivers State. I had to call my brother, a lot of my brothers in Port Harcourt, to ask them, look, this is what's happening. And before they all wake up to know what's happening. So there's been an underground current brewing. I didn't expect it this early. I was expecting that maybe in 2 years' time, when Sim will want to announce a contesting ambition, a second ambition, then there will have been some issues that will have started cropping up. But I think the other persons that are waiting to cash in went in too fast. And Sim will have fallen in too fast to those other advices. Maybe, I'm just saying, maybe. Or maybe Governor Wike was too hard on Sim at this point, because I understand from account that he appointed the chief of staff, the CSO, all the commissioners. I mean, somebody said of the 16, Wike appointed 15, and Sim only has one. So at that point, you are making somebody so irrelevant. That's why I said there will be more tax. It will be more tactful with Governor Wike and
what about the dynamics of just how volatile the conflict became overnight? Because two things happened when 24, just before 24 members of the House of Assembly attempted to impeach Governor Fubara. We saw that the hallowed chamber was burnt down, and then we also saw that the suspended majority leader came up to say that he has emerged Speaker of the House. What does this also say about, how sophisticated the other party is in this conflict?
No, certainly, because I think the conflict has been brewing for a while. And since the conflict has been brewing, it becomes very, very, it just only snowballed that day. So every party was ready, because I think from what we had, the House of Assembly was to, first of all, remove the what they call him, the majority leader who is loyal to the governor, who is loyal to Governor Sim. And for you to, of course, as the majority leader, he's the leader of the House, for you to get a way through to present a motion, of course, take the leader of the House. And so for me, really, it came as a surprise that the escalation within which the whole process took, it was very unprecedented. That means there has been a lot of underground. That means this conflict didn't start today. For the Sim group to have also been prepared for what was going to happen. So it didn't start today. It must have been brewing. I understand from sources that even Governor Sim thought of resigning last week or week before last. I can't remember, but I don't know how true that was. So that means there has been already conflict brewing. How it started, nobody has known up till now. It may not be about money. I think it must be, just like Wike is saying, it must be about him controlling his structure and remain relevant, not align those other people that he defeated to inherit and redesign his structure and make him irrelevant. Remember, when you're in Abuja, you are far from the ground. And so a lot of things, 24 hours in politics is a long time. A lot of things a lot of water can go under the bridge. So the man is wise. He wants to keep an eye on what he has built so it doesn't become irrelevant.
Well, let's hope that the president can wade in and indeed resolve this. It's too early in the day for a 5-month-old governor and also the minister of the FCT, who has a lot on his hand at this time. Public affairs analyst.
I think the president needs to do this quickly to safeguard the security, the fragile security of Rivers State, because anything that blows for Rivers State, security-wise, will almost engulf the whole country. So
former chairman, ICANN Lagos and District Society, Lester Wilcox, thank you for talking to us on the program.
It's always my pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank you.